University of Fort Hare Executive Protection Officer Mboneli Vesele was laid to rest earlier today. Vesele was the bodyguard of Vice-Chancellor Professor Sakele Buhlungu. You'll remember he was murdered last week outside Buhlungu's home. Ministers Bladen Zamande and Beki Cele attended the funeral. And eNCA's Ronald Masinda is following that story and joins us live from there now. Ronald, obviously we've been tracking the story as it's developed in the news, but it would have been a very touching and somber proceedings today as the family and indeed the campus community laid him to rest.
Yes, indeed, Marcel, very somber moments that were experienced throughout the course of the day. The day started in Ginsburg at the home of Mboneli Vesele, where many people saw him for the last time before the procession moved to the gravesite where he was laid to rest. We are in Bisha at the moment, and we've just concluded the funeral service. Now that he's been laid to rest, many are now calling for swift justice to prevail. And one man who has all the powers, possibly, and many people are hoping that he does, is Police Minister Beki Cele. Thank you so much, Minister, for your time. We heard from the professor. You've been in discussions. Talk to us about the team that has been put in place to look at this matter.
Well, we had a meeting earlier on, I think it was Monday or Tuesday, with Prof. He raised all the concerns he had about the issues that have taken place here vis-a-vis the response of the South African police, especially the local police. In that meeting, I was with the National Commissioner, the top brass, as the Prof said, and then the first thing we agreed that we need to take the case and anchor it in the office of the National Commissioner, not just of the present victim, the person that we're bearing today, but many other several issues that have happened in the university and surrounding the university. Therefore, the commissioner had to go and operationalize all those decisions after we've met Prof. For that, the team was going to be constituted. There are people that most of them will be coming from other provinces, from different categories of detectives, crime intelligence, and anchored at the level of the general in the office of the National Commissioner. As we were here on that particular day, already the team has come, as the Prof has said, they've met the Prof. So I think we'll have the ball rolling now.
Of course, he's not the only person who has been killed here at this institution in recent months. So we're talking about a case 9 months ago where the fleet manager, Mr. Roots, was also gunned down outside his house. Are these cases linked?
Well, I'm not an investigator. I think I'll be putting the cart before the horse should I say anything about the investigation. That's not the only one. It's one professor. The house was shot, nearly killed. They shot the fridge while she was in the kitchen. The other lady that was shown here, who stays in East London, attacked the Prof in the same day, the killing, and those are all the cases that, as a package, we'll be looking at, because it does look like it's a chain of events. It's not a once-off thing. It's not by-the-way thing. So the police will have to really go deep and make sure that they do the round kind of investigation, starting from where these things started from. That includes with the killing of the students at sometimes at the university and all that, and coming up to the management and all. We believe that the top management is not very safe at the present moment as we speak. Maybe that's why the president has instructed 3 of the ministers to be down here. You go there, you saw the thing. We believe that, as I'm saying, that the ball is really rolling.
All right, and I'm sure many South Africans are hoping that this ball will be rolling, because, to be honest, Minister, many people are tired of crime. We are sick of crime. And There are so many cases where investigations just go on and on without any sort of meaningful leads, perhaps, from the police. Let's talk about the Namhla matter. Are there similarities in terms of the way she was gunned down?
Well, the statement you made is an unfortunate statement. Many cases, they get the profile like this as they happen, they are wrong. When you respond and you find that the police and the system, the justice system have made the response, they don't get the same kind of profile. Let me give one case before I come to this one. The case of Orlando in the tavern where people were shot and killed, 17. You don't hear much about the arrests that have happened, those people that have appeared in court time and again, the linkage, the find of firearms, the linkage of the people that were coming from the other countries. Police have done a very good job there, but unfortunately, you would not find the same response. Namhla case is one case that has given us a lot of difficulty. The case is not closed. Maybe is one of those cases when you say you can't tell exactly, even when you know where it is. It's a question of you are running away from it. It's a difficult case. It's a case that many people have questioned it correctly so, but it's a case that we're still pursuing. It's a case where when it happens that you get somebody, there should be no withdrawal. There should be no withdrawal of the case, postponing the case and all that. The case, as you speak, is being investigated, but is investigated with prosecutors now, so that by the time it goes to court, is a tight court. There are things that are giving problem to the case. Maybe it would be good not to talk about those things, even within the system of justice system.
All right, fair enough. There are cases where, they're not shown a lot on the media. I get that, but let's, without diverting too much onto the Namhla matter, we know that there was a lead detective, perhaps, I stand corrected, who received death threats. That person was pulled away. We know in this matter you've got people from outside of the province dealing with this issue. Are police here capable of not doing these investigations?
Well, that female brigadier who was from the province from north, who came for the case, we ended up guarding that investigator herself. Maybe she didn't take the bullet of guarding the case like it would be with other cases. But most cases that are serious, especially Western Cape and some few in other provinces and KZN, the investigators themselves are guarded. So if it happens here, it would be not a new thing. Especially KZN and Western Cape, we spend a lot of personnel, of a highly trained personnel, special forces, your AMAPARET, your TRT, your National Intervention, and sometimes the Special Task Force. 2-3 weeks ago in Western Cape, there was a proper interception of the magistrate that was going to be shot in that particular night because he was giving the final verdict in the court the next morning. So those are the things that happen. So if it needs to be here, we will do that. As you said, that was a lady, maybe she didn't take the hit to the latter. But if it needs to be, as we do it, that the police that are dealing with the cases that themselves are highly sensitive. One thing we can tell you about this Forte issue is highly sensitive. Is, as the professor said, and we fully agree with, is not just common criminals that are dealing with these things. So if it is organized, syndicates, those syndicates won't just lie down and walk over them. They will respond. So we do these things with that full understanding that you'll have to stand firm and support those police with all material, personnel, and every other thing that they need to be supported with.
Professor Buhlungu, during his speech today, alluded to a smear campaign. These criminals sending out messages saying that there are targets on certain people's backs. Surely this is a clue. How come then have we not heard of any arrests or any leads?
Well, you spoke about the cybercrime, sort of. The team that is sent here will be really taking care of everything and all the things you are raising. Well, the professor is quite a tough man himself. Besides that, he's frustrated and all that. But he has met the team. To be honest, he seems to be on the side of getting satisfaction, though still said 1 week I cried to him thereafter to say, Prof, it might not be 1 week because we don't want to deal with the case that will be withdrawn, the case that will be investigated thereafter, and all those kind of things. So this cyber matter, as you said, is a starting point. We all agree it should be a starting point. So there are pointers, but there are more other pointers. Maybe is where we agree with him that the justice was not done much by the local stations where these cases were open here. Hence, the level has been pushed up to the level of a national commissioner.
Minister, my last question. I know you're a busy man. We know that there are at least 26 public universities here in South Africa. Forte, unfortunately, has had a series of these incidents and assassinations. Are there other investigations in terms of other tertiary institutions that might be going through this?
Well, the problem with South Africans, I don't know where they study and they copycat these things of coming with the sectoral syndicates. You go to the construction, you find what they call construction mafia, cashized bank and all that. That one is new of the universities. One university where a management or a manager was killed is Ongoye, University of Zululand. One university that has got some serious problems will be UNISA. So we know that at the present moment, the anchoring university on this problem is this one. But we are not closing our eyes in looking across the universities. Maybe the work that we start here is not going to end here. We'll be working with other rectors, with other VCs, to expand our wings so that we nip this thing on the bud.
All right. Minister, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. Minister Vice-Chancellor, who was also in attendance during this funeral that took place here in Bisho.
Okay, thank you so much for that live report. Our senior reporter, Ronald Masinda, there.